I heard her crying through the door as I walked away with my packed bag, but I felt absolutely nothing. The woman I loved had just spent months trying to destroy me to prove a point. And what I found on her laptop that night, it was so much worse than cheating. My name's Marcus, I'm 28, and I work as a structural engineer. For the past year and a half, I thought I'd found the one. Her name was Lily, and honestly, she was incredible at first. We met through a mutual friend at some gathering I almost didn't go to, but my best friend Derek practically dragged me out. I saw her across the room arguing with someone about a documentary, and there was just this intensity in her eyes that pulled me in. The first 6 months were genuinely amazing. We'd go hiking on weekends, cook elaborate dinners together, binge entire series in one sitting. She was passionate about her work at a nonprofit, which I really admired. But somewhere along the way, that passion started morphing into something else. A filter through which absolutely everything had to be examined and judged. It started with small comments. We'd be watching one of my favorite action movies, and she'd pause it right in the middle of an awesome scene. Do you see how the camera objectifies her? That's the male gaze in action. I'd just nod, hoping we could get back to the explosions. It was annoying but manageable, like a mosquito buzzing near your ear. Then we moved in together 6 months ago, and that mosquito turned into a constant droning hum. My job became frequent criticism. I'm a structural engineer, and yes, the field is male-dominated, but for me it's just my career. For Lily, it represented everything wrong with society. Me getting promoted wasn't because I'd worked hard for 3 years, it was because of my privilege as a man. I tried explaining I was chosen over 2 other guys with similar backgrounds, but logic didn't matter. My friendship with Derek also came under constant scrutiny. Derek's been my best friend since middle school, married with twins on the way, just a genuinely good man. But in Lily's eyes, our friendship was a breeding ground for toxic behavior. One time she told me Derek was a negative influence because he'd made a joke about his wife being the boss of their household. According to Lily, this was a microaggression that normalized patriarchal power structures. I just stared at her, baffled. It was a dad joke, not a political statement. I started walking on eggshells in my own home, filtering my stories. Being vague about conversations with Derek, I told myself it was a small price to pay when she wasn't on her soapbox. The problem was those moments were becoming increasingly rare. Her friend group, especially her best friend Morgan, seemed to fuel everything. Morgan was the ringleader, radiating smug superiority and viewing every man as either a threat or an idiot. I made the mistake once of contributing to their conversation about wage gaps, bringing up data about career choices being significant factors. The way they looked at me, you'd have thought I declared the earth was flat. The real trouble started about 2 months ago. Lily became more distant, constantly messaging Morgan and smiling at her screen, then quickly hiding it when I walked in. It felt secretive, like they were planning something. I remember one date night at her favorite Italian place. She seemed completely off. "Marcus, do you believe in unconditional loyalty?" She asked out of nowhere. "Yeah, of course," I replied, confused. "But what if some beautiful woman threw herself at you and you knew you'd never get caught? Would you still be loyal?" "Lily, what is this about? Of course I would stay loyal." "I'm with you." She forced a smile and said no reason, just hypothetical. But it didn't feel hypothetical. It felt like a test. A week later, I got a follower request from an account with an attractive blonde woman at the beach. Generic username, just emojis in the bio, no mutual connections, obviously a bot. I showed Lily, laughing it off. She glanced at the screen, and for a split second I saw something flicker in her eyes. "Oh yeah, just ignore it," she said too casually. Days later, I got a message from that account. "Hey, saw your profile and thought you were cute." I rolled my eyes, deleted it, without responding. When I mentioned it to Lily, her reaction was strange. She wasn't angry, she seemed interested. "You didn't even reply?" she asked. "Why would I reply to a bot?" "You should have blocked it," she said firmly, almost like an order. Then came another request weeks later. Different account, brunette with an artsy vibe, but same energy. I denied it immediately. 2 days later, a message came that was more sophisticated, referencing my photo from climbing Mount Whitney. "Hey, that pic from the top of Mount Whitney is amazing. I've always wanted to hike that trail." I ignored it but didn't delete it. I was curious what would happen next. That evening, Lily was weirdly affectionate, making my favorite meal, asking if I was happy. "I just want to make sure I'm enough for you," she said, avoiding my eyes. Alarm bells started ringing. The weird dinner conversation, the fake accounts, her strange reactions, her sudden insecurity. A horrible theory formed, but it was too insane, right? No one would have their friend create fake accounts to trap their own boyfriend. I decided to test my theory. During lunch the next day, I sent a short platonic reply. Thanks. Yeah, tough hike but worth it. The reply came instantly with an invitation to go hiking together. My stomach churned. This felt like a real person with a specific goal. I didn't reply. That night, another message came through trying to keep me engaged. I decided to end it with a firm message. I'm in a committed relationship and not interested. I wish you the best, but please don't message me again. I blocked the account and changed my settings. Game over. I thought things would go back to normal. I was so wrong. The days after were tense. Lily gave me the silent treatment, looking at me with disappointment and frustration. I tried talking to her, but she shut me down, claiming she was just tired. I could see her screen reflected in her glasses. She was messaging Morgan. About a week later, I came home exhausted. Lily was in a surprisingly good mood, saying she'd take a bath, then we could order food. She disappeared into the bathroom and I collapsed on the couch. Her laptop was open on the coffee table. The screen lit up with a new message from Morgan. Okay, the new profile is ready to go. This one is foolproof. My blood went ice cold. My hand shook as I pulled the laptop toward me. The chat between her and Morgan was right there, and I started scrolling. It was all there, everything, worse than I could have imagined. I saw them planning the first account. Morgan, we need a classic honey trap, basic but effective on simple minds. I saw them create the second account, picking photos from some model's profile. Morgan, this one's more his type, he'll fall for this one for sure. They'd screenshot my polite responses and analyze them viciously. Morgan, see, he replied, he's interested, just too passive to make a move. Lily's reply, lol, pathetic. My loyalty was pathetic to her. Then I saw their conversation from when I blocked the account. Lily was furious. Morgan responded, doesn't mean he's loyal, just means he's careful. A truly guilty man would be more cautious. Their logic was insane. If I fell for it, I was a cheater. If I didn't, I was just a smarter cheater. There was no scenario where I was simply a good boyfriend. Then I reached the newest plan, based on my favorite band I'd casually mentioned. Morgan created a profile with interests designed for me. Hiking, obscure indie music, classic sci-fi. The message was already written, inviting me to a show. Lily's contribution, if he agrees, you actually have to go and run into him, take a picture as proof. They were planning to entrap me in real life. My girlfriend and her best friend were conspiring to manufacture a cheating situation just to prove their toxic ideology. The person I loved didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a specimen that needed to be exposed. I closed the laptop and stood up. Whatever love I'd felt was gone, completely erased. I walked to our bedroom and started packing my duffel bag. Clothes, toiletries, chargers. With every item, weight lifted from my shoulders. I wasn't losing a relationship, I was escaping a prison. I just zipped the bag when the bathroom door opened. Lily came out smiling. I feel so much better, I'm starving, should we get Thai or... She stopped. Her eyes fell on my packed bag. Marcus, what's going on? I walked past her, picked up her laptop, and held it out. She looked from my face to the laptop, horror in her eyes. She knew. It's not what it looks like, she stammered. It was just a joke, Morgan put me up to it. I was just scared, I've been hurt before. I stared, unmoved, tears welled up. Please don't do this, I love you, that made me speak. No you don't, I said coldly. You don't love me, you don't even respect me. You see me as a project, a thesis to be proven. She cried harder. It's this world, Marcus, it's the system. It makes you think no man can be trusted. I took a step back. This has nothing to do with the system, Lily. This is about you. You're so convinced of your narrative that you'd rather destroy something good than admit you might be wrong. I walked to the door, she grabbed my arm, sobbing. No, please, we can fix this, I'm so sorry. I gently removed her hand. You're not sorry you did it, I said quietly. You're just sorry you got caught. Goodbye, Lily. I stepped into the hallway and closed the door. I could hear her collapse into sobs, but I felt nothing. I drove to Derek's house and showed up looking like a ghost. He took one look and said, "Get in here, I'll grab you a beer." I told him everything. When I finished, he shook his head. You did the absolute right thing. You deserve someone who respects you. Hearing that validation was like a pressure valve releasing. I wasn't heartbroken, I was free. I stayed on his couch while finding a new place. Lily tried calling and texting dozens of times. I read the first message, then blocked her number. Months later, I heard she was telling everyone I left because I couldn't handle being with a strong, empowered woman. She was still trying to make it fit her narrative. Sometimes I wonder what happened after I left, her crying on the floor, her laptop glowing with evidence of her betrayal, her phone buzzing with Morgan's message. So did he take the bait? She ran an experiment to prove all men are trash. Instead, she found one who wasn't, and she lost him forever because of it.
If this confession kept you hooked, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We share powerful true stories every day that explore the complex realities of life.